When I first heard about The Accountant 2, my reaction was pretty simple. Finally! The 2016 original was an adrenaline shot wrapped in an action-packed puzzle. Ben Affleck's Christian Wolff, a mathematical genius with a penchant for high-caliber weaponry, left us all wanting more. And now, with Gavin O'Connor back in the director's chair and Jon Bernthal's Braxton Wolff stepping into a bigger spotlight, this sequel feels like it's gearing up to outdo its predecessor. Nearly 10 years after the first movie, the sequel is set to drop on April 25, 2025. That's a lot of time for anticipation to build, and it's clear Warner Brothers isn't taking any shortcuts. Cynthia Addai-Robinson, who plays Mary Beth Medina, has teased that this film could surpass the original. If her excitement is any indicator, we're in for a wild ride. The fact that filming has already wrapped is a big deal. Addai-Robinson hinted at some major developments for her character, Mary Beth. She even got to share the screen with both Affleck and Bernthal this time. Considering Mary Beth's journey in the first movie, this amazing arc sounds like something to keep an eye on. The cast lineup is shaping up to be a solid mix of old favorites and fresh faces. Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal are returning as Christian and Braxton, which is a no-brainer. Their chemistry, equal parts rivalry, and reluctant camaraderie was a major highlight of the first film. J.K. Simmons is also back as Financial Crimes Enforcement Network Director Ray King. Now let's be honest, any movie gets an upgrade when Simmons shows up. And of course, Addai-Robinson is reprising her role as Mary Beth, with hints that her story will be more central this time. On the newcomer side, Daniela Pineda, Robert Morgan, and Grant Harvey have joined the cast. Details about their roles are still unknown, but with this franchise's knack for weaving in complex characters, I'm betting they'll bring some serious intrigue. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the story. Director Gavin O'Connor has made it clear that Braxton Wolff is getting a lot more screen time in this sequel. That's exciting because Bernthal brought a raw intensity to the role that left many of us wanting more. The sequel is expected to dive deeper into the brothers' relationship. Christian and Braxton are like two sides of the same coin, brilliant but broken in different ways. Watching them navigate their tangled past while likely dodging bullets sounds like a recipe for gripping drama. As for the antagonist, that's still a mystery. But let's not forget the shady dealings of living robotics and harbor neuroscience from the first film. If those threads carry over, we could be looking at an even bigger conspiracy with higher stakes. Moreover, Gavin O'Connor isn't just stopping at a sequel. He's planning a trilogy. That means The Accountant 2 has the tricky job of building on the first movie while laying the groundwork for a third installment. The first film was a brilliant mix of action, intelligence, and heart. It didn't just rely on shootouts and explosions, though it had plenty of those. It also explored themes like family, isolation, and finding purpose in unexpected places. If the sequel can balance those elements while expanding the story, it might just outshine the original. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room: expectations. The first movie set the bar pretty high. Audiences flocked to theaters, and it became a sleeper hit for Warner Brothers. Can the sequel capture lightning in a bottle again? Based on the talent involved, I'd say the odds look pretty good. There's also a certain charm in the fact that Christian Wolff is such an unconventional action hero. He's not your typical muscle-bound, one-liner spouting protagonist. He's meticulous, methodical, and deeply human. That relatability is part of what made the first movie so special, and it's something I hope the sequel leans into. Back in 2016, The Accountant was the quiet kid in the back of the theater that nobody expected to ace the action thriller test. But then it pulled out a sniper rifle, some high-stakes bookkeeping, and a plot twist so sharp it could cut glass. Ben Affleck as Christian Wolff was awesome. A math genius with autism who cooks books for criminals and can take down an entire squad of bad guys with a pen? Yeah, The Accountant wasn't your typical action flick. It had everything: intrigue, action, and a lead character who wasn't just another muscle-bound hero. Ben Affleck was in top form. He took Christian Wolff, a man whose world was numbers, routines, and precision, and made him both relatable and intimidating. Watching him blend his razor-sharp intellect with action hero grit was like seeing Jason Bourne crunch tax returns between missions. Directed by Gavin O'Connor, the movie delivered a smart blend of brain and brawn. Sure, critics pointed out the plot holes. Some even called it preposterous. But audiences loved it. They didn't mind the convoluted story because it treated them like grown-ups. Plus, that $150 million box office haul spoke louder than any Rotten Tomatoes score. One of the most fascinating parts of The Accountant was its use of art to reflect Christian's character. I mean, this guy didn't just get paid in cash. He collected masterpieces. Jackson Pollock's Freeform represented the chaos he tried to organize, while Renoir's Woman with a Parasol symbolized his strained relationship with his mother. And then there's Dogs Playing Poker. The humor of that painting went completely over Christian's head, but its theme of cheating at cards was a subtle nod to his own moral flexibility. The paintings weren't just props, they were windows into his psyche. And let's be honest, giving Dana the Dogs Playing Poker painting with a hidden Pollock behind it, that was both hilarious and heartwarming. Who else remembers gasping when the assassin turned out to be Christian's estranged brother Braxton? That reveal added layers to the story. Suddenly, the guy wreaking havoc wasn't just another bad guy, he was family. The final showdown wasn't just about stopping the villain, it was a brotherly reunion with fists and firearms. And then there was Justine, the mysterious voice guiding Christian and Treasury agent Ray King. The reveal that she was the nonverbal girl from Christian's childhood was a chef's kiss moment. It tied everything together while reinforcing the movie's theme. Heroes aren't defined by what they lack, but by how they overcome obstacles. Now, here's where it gets exciting. We know that many key players are returning, which means Gavin O'Connor is probably cooking up something big. Will Christian face another complex financial conspiracy? Will Braxton make a comeback, this time as an uneasy ally? And what about Justine? Will her role as Christian's secret weapon evolve? Action thrillers often fall into the trap of style over substance, but The Accountant stood out because it had heart. Christian wasn't just a hero, he was a deeply flawed, deeply human character. His autism wasn't a gimmick, it was an integral part of who he was, shaping his strengths and struggles. Sure, some critics accused the film of treating ASD like a superpower, but others saw it as empowering. And with the sequel, there's a chance to dive even deeper into what makes Christian tick. Plus, let's not forget the humor. The first movie had its fair share of dry wit, like Christian's deadpan response to Dana's jokes or the irony of his high-stakes lifestyle. If the sequel can balance the action, drama, and humor as well as the first, it's bound to win over audiences again. And can The Accountant 2 outshine the original? If you're as hyped as we are, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates on The Accountant 2 and other blockbuster releases. We'll see you in the next one.